Yeah, this is terrible, man. Pretty big blow to, I think, developers, builders. Again, one of many stories last week that I think made builders and developers a little dispirited. Two of the developers behind the Samurai wallet, which is a privacy focused wallet, Rodriguez and his fellow developer, William Lonergan Hill, they were accused of running an unlicensed money transmitting business. And they handed I think the maximum sentence possible for this, which is
Yep.
5 years. So these two devs are going to prison, for the crime of writing code for 5 years. This is bad for anyone in crypto who's writing software, and even worse for anyone in crypto who's writing software with a privacy focus. It sends a terrible message that the US government doesn't like privacy, I would say, and is willing to punish those who are making tools to enable privacy. They're making that a punishable offense. A bad turn. Again, we've talked about this before. I think this is a bit out of the administration's hands, right? This predates Trump and the Trump administration's, what's it called? Their when they took over. So this is like a Biden era kind of vestige, but it really is terrible, I think. And I don't know where to go with this next. I mean, it sets a bad precedent.
Yeah, I guess there's the chance of a pardon, but just to illustrate, one of the many reasons that privacy is needed in finance. All right, so we've got a story here, which is that some known cryptocurrency holders, a couple who was living in Dubai a few months ago, they were kidnapped and murdered, their bodies buried in the desert. And the update to this story is that the group of people who orchestrated that have been arrested by Russian authorities. So, yeah, that's one reason why privacy is needed. But others, we've talked about many times, basically, TradFi, finance, you cannot have, for crypto to really go mainstream, you must have privacy. Businesses have all of their financial data exposed. It doesn't make sense business-wise, and regulatorily, you're just like, businesses can't operate like that. So privacy is needed, and it exists to a certain extent in the TradFi system, in some ways to a greater extent than it does in like most of crypto.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you Venmo somebody money, they don't get to
the
then
whole
look
world
at
doesn't see
your bank account.
your balance.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Like,
All of your holdings. Right?
Graham is doing really well.
Yeah. So, perhaps as a response to this whole thing, there does seem to be this growing narrative, right, that at least amongst the investors in the crypto space, that, yeah, privacy is needed. And therefore, you have seen massive pumps in privacy coins. Zcash, perhaps the most notable, but now some others are following up. Monero, Xano has done well, and others, I believe, Dash, Decred. They're all the privacy space. People are crypto investors have latched onto that narrative and are pumping the coins.
Were you heartened or disheartened that other coins started to catch a bid? Because usually that means, to me, the narrative might be getting a little fatigued, right? When you have that front runner really kind of going strong, and then once it starts to spread to all the other stuff, I think that usually is a sign of exhaustion, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is when you just look at the charts of some of these tokens, they start to go from diagonal up and to the right to parabolic up and to the right. Right?
Yeah,
it goes like, when it starts going like that, straight up, it's not sustainable. And we've seen that with Zcash. And sure enough, when Zcash really went parabolic, that's when you start to see people rotating to the other privacy coins to try to get that extra juice out of the tank.
Yeah, definitely. But good.
All right, David.
Glad.
Yeah,
it's a good narrative, privacy. So
yeah, Yeah, I think we'll talk more about this in token narratives either this week or coming soon. Are these privacy tokens actually investable? You mentioned, David, that there does seem to be some kind of a cabal here as well. And what is long term going to be allowed, I guess, by the powers that be?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like we talked about before we went live. There's a lot of different pieces to that, and it's not clear to me what the best solution is. I still think, just to give everyone a little taste, you deal with issues of fungibility with Zcash, and so we can get into that on token narratives. But it's the privacy is complicated, and it's complicated by the fact that you have, like we just talked about, governments who I think are incentivized to not like privacy, right? It makes kind of what they do harder, and I don't know if they're gonna let this go unchecked, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and of course the real crypto cypherpunks will say it doesn't matter what the government thinks. But David, I know you have qualms with that approach.